taking away what they wanted to do?
Well, they're 5 for 22. We let them get way too many off, and they had some open ones late. They had some open ones, but by that time they were so tired that they couldn't make them, and then they missed some early that were much more contested. And we'll have to do a better job, but they were 5 for 22. But I can't sit here and tell you I was really happy tonight because we again, and part of that was my fault. I'm going to take the blame for it. In the second half, we gave him some open threes in the press because we were pressing and going after him a little bit, which a couple guys didn't make the right rotation, didn't do what they were supposed to do, and as a result of that, we gave up some open threes. So, got to look at that. But again, the result turned out how we wanted it. That's for sure. The result turned out how we wanted because they're 5 for 22. Surprisingly, they tried to pressure us a little bit, and that's why we kept running our high ball screen stuff because we could get in the lane, we could get passes in the lane, we get about what we wanted. I was shocked. I thought they would play a zone, and I thought they would pack it in man to man, but they didn't. And I don't know if they were scared of Farad or what, but it worked out. Had we made free throws tonight, we score probably our best game of the year offensively if we just make free throws because we missed 10 free throws. We're 13 for 23, and just can't do that. Sean Morman's 1 for 6, and I'm going to strangle Zach Tobler if he misses another free throw.
How important to get Kevin going? He said you talked to him before the game and he wanted to spend some time on the gun.
Yeah, Kevin being a local guy, sometimes what happens, you got, when you're not playing well, you get everybody asking you what's wrong. Every friend, every teacher, everybody in the community, and that's a lot of pressure on you when you're a local guy. And that's why Coach Cronin's been very selective in who he takes in local players. You got to have somebody of high character and somebody, can handle all that because it's not easy. And we've just tried to tell Kevin, that Mick and I met and talked about it, and we came up with, what we thought the way we needed to approach Kevin. And Kevin, hey, look, you need to just worry about being a great defender, play as hard as you can, play within the offense, and don't worry about missing and making shots. And when you play that way, shots take care of themselves. It's amazing how it happens to players. And when you get to worrying about missing and making shots and how many shots you got or you take and all that, that's when you get yourself in trouble. And Kevin did a good job for the most part. I thought a couple times tonight he didn't, and we addressed it, and he went right back to playing within himself. And once he did, he had a good game tonight, a very good game.
The other day you were talking specifically about Gary and how he, during a timeout, he listened to what you guys were talking about, and then he went out and executed it. Tonight, before the end of the first half there, you guys were able to drop a play and you get the baseline alley-oop and everything. Do you see the team doing that more and more, being able to follow your instructions and going out and then executing it?
Well, we had worked on the last play that we ran at the end of the half. We'd worked on that a bunch, and we didn't walk through today. We worked on it a bunch, and that, as a coach, when guys execute what you've tried to teach them, that's the best feeling in the world, and that's all you can ask them to do. It doesn't always work. Sometimes, teams are smart, they figure it out, whatever. Then you got to learn the counters to whatever that is, but that's, the guys are coming execution-wise because we've been pounding that in their head about execution. When it's time to screen, you got to screen. When it's time to cut, you got to cut. When it's time to pass, you got to pass. And you got to be precise in it. And, so far, we're getting better at it. We'll find out on Saturday because we're playing another great defensive team in UConn, and we'll have to have our best execution of the game of the year by far if we're going to score points against them, and we'll have to have our best defensive effort by far against them because they're playing really well right now. And their record's a little bit deceiving, guys. UConn lost 2 at the buzzer, and one of them was a freak, and they didn't have Boatwright in one of the games, and so they're pretty good. But East Carolina tonight, I was worried about this game just as you always do because when your guys look at them on paper, they don't probably sometimes with a young team particularly, you got to be careful they don't give them the respect that they deserve. And they're a dangerous team because they can make threes. And that's the great equalizer in today's game. That's why you see mid-majors upset majors in the NCAA tournament. Usually it's a mid-major that can really make threes because, again, you make 15 threes, it's 45 points. It's hard to overcome with twos.
Met Gary tonight, 16 rebounds.
I mean, this is a freshman stat line. He had 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 assists. And Fraud doesn't charge at the end. He has a double-double. He gets his last bucket. He's going to lay that one in. I mean, you know, you can't ask more out of a freshman. But he and Tay have been steady Eddie. I mean, every night out. And as a coach, that's really you'd rather have a guy you can count on that can get you 10 points and 8 rebounds every night than a guy that gets you 24 one night and 2 the next, and you never know what you're going to get. Right now with Tay and Gary, pretty much every night you know what you're going to get. Some nights will have a little more, but almost every night you're going to count to 8 to 10 points from Gary. He's going to get you 8 to 10 rebounds, probably going to block 2 shots, and the same thing out of Tay. Tay's going to probably be 12 to 14 points every night. Might get you 21 night, but he's going to get that every night. He's going to get you 9 rebounds. Tay's going to have 3 block shots. That's a comforting feeling as a coach. Doesn't matter who you play, you're going to get those. They're going to get those. And if we can get the rest of our team to being that consistent, then we really got something.
How hard is it for a freshman to be that consistent? I mean, because you're adjusting to the speed of the game, the change, and going against guys. You know, you're not playing guys that are 6'2", 185 pounds in the post anymore. It seems remarkable that he's been able to adjust at the rate that he has.
Well, I think that speaks to Gary's character, to be honest with you. I mean, he is a tremendous kid, as you know. You've been around him, and he's just a tremendous kid. And he listens. He's a sponge when it comes to coaching. You know, whatever you tell him, he tries to do. And when you have talent and you listen and are coachable, you're going to end up being pretty good. I mean, that sounds facetious, but it's true. You know, the guys who struggle are the guys who have some talent maybe, and they're uncoachable, or they don't want to listen, or they can't absorb it. Gary's a very intelligent basketball player too. He absorbs things. He understands things. And I think that's why, because he's such a high-character kid, and he does listen and is coachable, that's why he's able to be so consistent every time out.
What was Shaq down at the beginning of the game? Shaq didn't start.
It's coach's decision.
I'm sorry.
It's coach's decision.
You said that.
Anything else?
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Hey.
Went down and got a little work on the gun this afternoon. Mick said he was going to have a talk with you. Did he have the talk with you? And how'd you get yourself going?
He had like a team talk earlier that kind of was directed towards me. But before today's game, I had a talk with Coach Davis as well, which is similar to the talk we was going to have. But it wasn't nothing too bad. Just getting on the gun, getting my arc up, and gaining some confidence, man. Get a good sweat before the game.
Is it tough? I mean, is that part of playing at home, where you're not getting it going and things kind of get frustrating, and maybe it's a little more pressure on you than if you were away?
Not necessarily personally, but more so for my team. I just want to step up, do whatever I can to help my team win, so our offense can continue to build and become better. So that's more what it is. Not necessarily pressure, but just more just for my teammates.
Kevin, how good do you feel about the way the team's playing right now? 4 in a row, starting to get some national attention. It seems like you guys are playing better each time out.
Oh, it's a great feeling. Definitely to go on the court and win a game like this, winning in conference. It just shows all that hard work that we do every day, the grind that we go through, and the adversity we've been having to face all year is just starting to come along and really worth it for us.
Gary, what's the adjustment to this level been like for you? Because you've been able to consistently play pretty well, but it seems like now, maybe you're even taking another step now that you're adjusting to the speed of things.
It was difficult at first, trying to play as hard as coaches expect us to play. In high school, I never had to play defense. I just sat on the rim, so that's probably my biggest, adjustment that I have to make, like guarding people on the perimeter and, switching down the guard post as well. But, that's probably my biggest change.
Does it feel like it's starting to slow down for you some and that you're getting comfortable with it?
Yeah, I am a little bit, playing more defense. People back home ask me, I've never seen you play as much defense as you try to play in the passing lanes and things like that.
Troy, what did you guys, look like you had a pretty decided edge in the paint and scoring and rebounding edge. Is that what you guys wanted to exploit coming in here, or talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, I've been scoring well in the paint. You know, Gary scores well in the paint, and Corey scores well in the paint. You know, the guards, we kind of pointed that out in practice. You know, like the bigs can't really hang with us when the ball is in the paint. We wanted to play inside out before. Like, we took bad shots as guards. Let the bigs work first, and then we'll play outside, and the guards will get going.
Do you know he was 2 points from you?
I mean, he came in halftime with 12 deflections. You know, I knew he was scoring and blocking shots and rebounding. So, you know, I wasn't really surprised if he had a double-double. I think he has close to one every game, doesn't he?
I'm just saying, you know, he was 2 points away. You could have got him with 10.
Nah, somebody should have called out loud. I'd have got him. You know how I go. 2 points for Gary. Yep, let's go get this bucket, Gary.
Gary,
For real.
how much did the win at NC State mean to you?
You know, it meant a lot. Being that all my family back home was able to actually come and watch me play my first college game. You know, a lot of them, like my mom, that was her first time watching me play. And, you know, growing up, you know, that was one of my childhood teams, you know, I watched and went to a lot of games at PNC Arena. So it meant a lot, you know, to hear everybody doing free throws, yelling, "We love you, Gary." So, you know, it was really cool.
Hey, Troy, this team easily could have wilted under some adversity in recent weeks. You guys have seemed to rally, play some of your best basketball. Do you attribute that to anything? And, you know, how meaningful is that without Coach Cronin, that you guys are able to go out there and still put together wins and good performances?
I think that's the biggest chip on our shoulder is not having Coach Cronin from, like, a coach's perspective and a player's perspective. You know, with Coach Davis, we kind of have a chip for him to win games because, you know, he's feeling for Coach Cronin while he's out right now, and we don't want to make him look bad as a team. You know, we still want to make him look good, like he still knows what he's doing, and follow what Coach Cronin has left for him, to, you know, to handle business. And as players, you know, Cincinnati basketball, we win games, we won the conference championship, and that's our goal for next year to win. I mean, for this year to win it again. And we go out every day like, yo, let's battle, let's get better today, let's focus on the next opponent, let's work hard, and let's play defense. Let's do what we do best, basically.
You guys closed out the half with the set play. You called a timeout, you had the ball up, and it looked like, well, they're letting the clock really run down, but it looked like you executed the way it wanted to be. Is that the way it came out?
Yeah. It's not like we wanted to let it run down. It wasn't set up right. Everybody wasn't in their spot, so we had to get everybody set. The play's not meant to be for like a 20-second draw. It's meant for like 6-7 seconds left. So even if he wasn't, when he got there, it was time to go. We kind of sped it up a little bit, but it was executed real well. You know, that's the one thing that we focus on is execution.
Right. That's something you were just saying. You know, when you talk about doing things for Coach Davis or something like that, it's really, you know, getting that execution down.
Yeah, running the plays right. Basically, we're trying to score 70 points every game with the defense that we do play. So our biggest thing that we preach is execution. You know, execution is going to get us to 70 points. Our problem early in the year was scoring the basketball. You know, we was winning 55 to 50 or 55 to like 40. Now we want to win like 70 to like 40 because we're going to get stops regardless. And that's what one thing we focus on. You know, going out like we're going to execute and score 70 points every game regardless who we play.
Kevin, how soon after games do you hear from Coach Cronin? I'm sure he shoots you guys a text message or something after the game. Have you heard from him after this one, after he kind of challenged you to play a little better?
Yes, through text. Also, you know, we see each other every day. It's a big family, so he don't go too long without, you know, showing his face up in the practice gym or the weight room or whatever it is. So I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll be hearing from him here soon.
When you hit that first one, you obviously know you're trying to get going, you're trying to find a rhythm. You hit that first one, does it feel like a little pressure comes off, like things are just a little easier and, you know, you can just go out and be natural?
Oh, definitely. Definitely when you hit one in the game, that first one, that basically, you know, set the tone for the rest of the game. But also just the extra things that I've been doing, I know eventually it has to pay off. So part of me is like, you know, just relax and you know, do what you do best.
Kevin, you think this was your team's best game so far this year?
Not at all. I feel like we can definitely get better. We definitely had a great performance defensively, but every game we can always find something to do and improve offensively. And that's the thing about this team. That's the best thing about us. Every game is it's really not our best game yet. We still feel like we got a long way. We can prepare better and continue to get better offensively, definitely.
Gary, starting to see interior passing between you and Octavius, you and Corey starting to come along. Do you guys feel like that everybody in the post was new, now you're starting to get some comfort with each other, starting to understand maybe where you like the ball, or you understanding where Oc's going to be? Is that just a natural development?
No, it's something we work on in practice. You know, our Coach Savino, he, you know, at the beginning we were like when one big catches it, you know, we supposed to flash or, you know, show ourselves to the other person. We wasn't really doing that before. But, you know, after, you know, a lot of reputation and coach talking to us and telling us how we're supposed to do it, now we're starting to actually come around and doing it. So you see how we get it to one another.
One more. Troy, this team right now is not ranked in the top 25. I think it deserves to be in the top 25. One of your losses came to Ole Miss, which is now in overtime with Kentucky. Going forward, is that fuel for your fire?
Yeah. You know, that's like one thing that we, just as a team, you know, we try to get back to. Last year we was ranked 7th. And you know, we try to get to that every year, to at least get to top 25. That's every like kid's biggest dream, is to be ranked with your team. That means you know, you're operating, you're doing everything right, and you can continue to get better. You know, you're not the best till you're number 1, and we fight for that every day.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
I got to be careful.